Sunday nighter. NFC South leading Tampa Bay, taking on Dallas, who had been eliminated from any playoff possibility by the time this game started. Keep that in mind.
I mean, he had two hands on the ball. It's just obviously you got to be careful. Not to beat a dead horse, but it's only the same thing happened to me earlier in the game. I got it ripped out of my hands, both of my hands. They made some plays when it mattered, and that's it's all about the ball, and they did a good job taking it away.
Sterling had to take a knee during the game. What did you see from the rest of the wide receiver unit?
Those guys stepped up in a huge way, and I say that because it was a lot of 2-minute situations where getting lined up quickly, guys having to know what they're doing. So those guys they executed for the most part really, really well in that scenario.
As I mentioned at the top, the Cowboys, defeated the Bucs 26-24. Cowboys sealed the victory. Great play by Bland. Took the ball right out of the guy's hand as he's going to the dirt. It wasn't good enough for him to just make the tackle. He wanted to make sure he get the ball and end the game at that very moment, and that's exactly what he did. But in the process of doing that, not only did they defeat the Bucs now are trail of the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are now in first place in the NFC South, which they are the 4 seed, and Tampa slides all the way down to the 8 seed. Where you say 8 seed is not bad, Shannon. Well, considering they only take 17, it's very bad. Now, we'll see Sunday night, Ocho, the Commanders and the Falcons play. 2 rookies going to start. Penix, obviously for the Falcons. Distance himself from Bo Nix, but he left no doubt in what he did today, the 5-touchdown performance, coming from behind and doing it. He wins that award. But, Ocho, when you look at the Cowboys, give them credit. They ain't got nothing to play for. They knew going into this game, after the Commanders had done what they have done, their playoff hopes were done. And they still come out here and give you that type of effort. Pressured Baker Mayfield the entire night. They picked him off, sacked him 4 times, pressured him numerous times, and they got the big strip fumble at the end of the game to close it out. What did you like about what you saw from the Cowboys?
I like the fact that they didn't give up. I like the fact that they didn't give up. I saw effort on both sides of the ball in all 3 phases of the game. I wonder if tonight's performance is enough to save Mike McCarthy's job. That's a question that I have now based on what I saw from them tonight. If you can play the way you played tonight with all the injuries that you have, what's going to happen if you have a team that's healthy and you can play like you did tonight with nothing on the line as far as playoff implications are concerned? That's the first thing that came to mind. Why are you playing this hard tonight? Where was this? Where was this fight? Where was this type of effort? Where was this type of consistency on both sides of the ball during the regular season when Dak was the quarterback? I mean, like, what are we doing? Why did we decide to play like this? When I guarantee you this, Unc, I guarantee you this. If there were people that were betting on the game, I guarantee they had all their money on goddamn Tampa to win. Yeah.
Probably so.
I'm like, I don't know what it is about games like this and playing teams that have nothing to lose and you're playing for a playoff spot. For some reason, teams like the Cowboys always seem to ruin the team's chances to maybe get in a better spot and sometimes even knock a team out the playoffs. Well, hell, if we ain't going, you ain't going either.
Yeah, misery loves company. But here's the thing, Ocho. This is what you know. At the end of the year, people start playing for jobs because now I need to see, okay, who's giving up and who's still fighting. Because in the middle of the season, okay, Ocho, we played, we still got a chance. But now this is when coaches, this is when general managers, this is when front office, this tells you a lot about your players. When you have absolutely positively nothing to play for, can you still summons up the energy? Because you're still getting a check, or you can't have you cashed it in. And tonight, clearly by the game, by what you saw, you see the Cowboys are still scrapping. They're still clawing. They're still trying to do everything they possibly can. Although they know their season is over, basically. They've got 2 more games. And then after those 2 games, they get those hefty bags. They clean out their lockers. You give all your info. Hey, bro, what you got going on? Hit me up if you come to Houston or if you come to Atlanta, if you come to wherever. Hey, man, let's get a trip to let's hit to Vegas.
Right.
Get all the information. You do your little you say your goodbyes.
And you got your exit.
You move on. You got that's absolutely, that's Monday. You go by and talk to your position coach. You talk to the head coach, and then normally have my flight scheduled at 1:00 because I was getting over there early. What time you coming in first thing? First thing. I'm first. I'm first.
Yeah, you get up out of there, huh?
Hey, and you better have more tenure than me, because I'm bumping everybody. Hey, I'm gonna see my position coach first, and I'm going to see. Hey, man, hey, bro, back up.
Right.
I'm
You
going to
getting
see
up out
Mike.
of there, huh? Quick.
Absolutely.
Hey,
ain't nothing to stick around for what? Because Ocho, the way I did it, I didn't go home, so I didn't go back. So only time I went back to Denver was for mini camps. I never went home in the season during the season.
You there the whole time.
I'm there the whole time, so I'm ready to get home. When I leave to go back to Denver, I'm ready to get back to Denver.
Yeah,
I'm out of there. Hey, holla at me. Y'all know how to get in touch with me. Nah, ain't no back and forth. I'm there. I'm where I'm supposed to be. But I was very impressed with the Cowboys. It's not like Tampa played bad. Baker threw for 304 yards. They ran the ball for 134 yards. But the Cowboys' pressure was relentless tonight. That D-line did a great job. Zim did a great job of disguising, bringing extra pressure. They pressured him a lot more than what I thought they could. But give the Cowboys credit, like you said, Ocho, for a team that didn't have anything to play for. They knew their season was basically over. There's no playoff potential. And to come out and give this kind of effort, and as you said, hell, if y'all have gave this effort, had you been playing like this on defense the entire season, who knows what your season could have been? And we don't want to blame it on injuries, because guess what? You're more banged up now than you were in the beginning. And you didn't give this effort. You didn't give this effort against the Ravens. You didn't give this effort against the Saints. You didn't give this effort against the Eagles. There are a lot of teams you didn't give this effort against, and that's why you're taking your ass home instead of getting ready to try to make a playoff. Excuse me, to make a deep playoff push.
Yeah,
that's why you're not. But Cooper Rush, 26-35, 292, 1 touchdown. He was only sacked once. They didn't run the ball well at all. They only had 20 carries for 31 yards.
The fact that they couldn't run the ball, which made them one-dimensional, and then Cooper Rush, when it came to passing, he was still good.
Yes.
I mean,
I was surprised that they couldn't generate more pressure than what they got. I was very, 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 very surprised. Tampa couldn't generate more pressure than what they got. And I thought, because Tampa was running the ball well, but the Cowboys hey, they pinning their ears back. Give Baker credit, because he threw the ball well under some very adverse circumstances. The last play, the end of the game, he supposed to have been sacked. He scratched and clawed and got his hands up and shoveled it to I think it was White that White that ended up having the ball taken from him. But give the Cowboys credit. Tonight is their night. They played well. They won 26-24, and they got something. They got a tough matchup next week, if I'm not mistaken. They got the Eagles. The Eagles are going to be upset. They let one slip away, had an opportunity to get home field, or still stay in the running for home field. That's no longer possible, I don't think. I don't see Detroit losing out. They got Minnesota one of these games. Minnesota still has an outside chance. They got Minnesota of getting home
the last
field.
Game, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, but it's in Detroit. Oh yeah, don't Detroit have the Packers? I think Detroit has the Packers. They got the Packers and Minnesota to close out the season.
Talk about
that's going to be
fireworks. That's fireworks in the season.
Oh no, Detroit goes to San Fran, and then they get the Vikings at home. The Vikings have the Packers and the Lions. They play the Packers. They got the Packers next week. Minnesota does, and then they close out the season in Detroit. Detroit goes on the road to San Fran, and then they close out the season against Minnesota at home.
That's going to be tough.
So I think when the NFL went to this alignment, Ocho, where the final game of the season is all division, this is what they hope for. Because people starting to sit people a week, 2 weeks, a week. Wait a minute. This ain't no NBA. Ain't no load managing here. We want something. We want it to mean something. I don't think